Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together in what I call the weekly bootcamp for mindfulness training. And we also call this the sanctuary to be away temporarily from all the craziness that's happening to us. So today we alternate, for those of you who are new, we alternate from week to week. And this week we're going back to the breathing exercise, breathing with our stomach, with our lower abdomen, breathing with the diaphragm. So in a sense, we're just trying to learn how to breathe again, the way we used to breathe when we were born. And I mentioned this many times, human beings is very unique in that when we were born, we didn't have any muscles. So that's therefore we cannot walk, we cannot even roll over when we sleep, right? We have no muscle. More precisely, we had no connective tissue. The connective tissues are not developed. And so it takes some time. It takes a year before we know how to walk. But as soon as we were born, we knew how to breathe because we have this one muscle that we have called the diaphragm that allows us to breathe in and breathe out. And this is a muscle that we develop inside the our mother's womb. And so you can imagine that when we're inside the mother's womb, there was a balance of energy. It had to be a balanced energy between what we call the energetic and the restorative. Energetic is the yang, and then restorative is the yin. If that didn't happen, we would have been viable, we would have been stillborn. And so as we grow, we develop these diseases, not because we were attacked from the outside, but something is wrong inside. We're losing something that is essential to our health, which is the ability to heal ourselves. And so we want to go back to that. We want to go back to learn how to breathe again with the diaphragm. And that's what the exercise is about. Now, yoga, or what is called yuja, that's the North Indian word, which meant mind, body together, right? It's actually practiced in both the body, what we call asana, as well as the breath, which is what we call pranayama. That those are the two branches of the 8 limbs of yoga. All right. So before we do anything, we're going to practice what we call the joint exercise, because the breathing exercise that we're going to do at the end of the class has the origin from what we call Tai Chi. Tai Chi requires that we use all the joints. And in fact, there's a way of describing the collaboration between the joint, between the wrist and the heel, between the elbow and the knee, and between the shoulder and the hip. So we're going to work on that first, work on the top. And we're going to take this opportunity to practice meditation. And so for those of you who came to our session on Tuesday with Professor Kwok, there was a discussion at the end where I said, Joanne, that's Professor Kwok. And I noticed that you said that you practice Tai Chi, you practice yoga, you practice all of that. And then you said you also practice meditation. And I don't want to disagree with you, but actually meditation can be practiced in all those forms. Human being is the only species that are capable of sitting, standing, lying down, and walking, including exercise. So we should practice meditation in all forms, wherever we can. And so we can practice meditation when we sit, we can practice meditation when we stand, we can practice meditation when we walk, we can practice meditation when we sleep, right? Including, and we can actually practice meditation when we exercise. So meditation in this case, there is different level of meditation. There is something called sati, which means mindfulness, that just anchoring your mind either on your body and your breath, right? Because one of the discussion that we had is that it's very simple. Your mind cannot do more than one thing at a time. There's no such thing as multitasking. You can only do one thing at a time. So if you don't anchor your mind on your body or your breath, or then it get loose and it's very dangerous. And so we talk about anxiety, we talk about depression, we talk about all that. And the reason for all that is because you let your mind wander. So the key to all that is to anchor your mind onto an object, whether it could be your body or your breath or your joints. And that's the first level of meditation called sati. The next level is what we call samatha. Samatha is not only do you anchor your mind, but you do it over and over and over again, right? So I use the example of like if your mind is like the lotus pond, and instead of being distracted and as if someone threw a rock into your pond, making all the disturbance, causing all the defilements and coming up, instead of chasing after that, you keep focusing on the surface of the pond. And then over time, it becomes very, very still. And so samatha is the next level. The next level is actually what we call Zen. It's what we call Zen. Zen comes from the Chinese word chan, which actually was used to be called chana, and that comes from the Sanskrit word called jhana. Jhana just means sedimentation, right? Whenever you have pain, you let it settle, you don't get it become suffering. And then finally, you get to the point where it's called samadhi, right? So that's the highest form of meditation as far as the yogis are concerned. All right, so let's do that. So we always want to come back to the body, right? So let's anchor our mind on the bottom of a spine. Let's walk up the spine one joint at a time. As you walk up the spine, I want you to stretch the spine towards the ceiling, as if somebody grabbed the hair on top of your head and just stretch it as if they're trying to hang your spine onto the ceiling. Then I want you to lean back and feel the lightness in your body because you're not using muscle anymore. And you lean back so that the weight of the spine is on top of the spine and not using muscle. Then you want to relax. Now you come to your shoulder, you lift up your shoulder, you open that shoulder, and then you relax the shoulder. Now you focus on your forehead, you lean back the forehead so that the ear's on top of the shoulder, and then you tuck in your chin so that the top of the head, this energy point called the 100 meat, is now on top of your central nerve system. This posture is what we call one pillar supporting the sky. You want it to be like that because when we talk about chi, we talk about life energy. Life energy didn't come from the banana that you ate this morning. It actually comes from the universe. And you want your body, your spine to become that conduit. Now that you're calibrating your body, it's now time to calibrate your breath. So all you have to do now is focus on your breath. And you start with knowing, I know that I'm breathing in, as if you were whispering to yourself, I know I'm breathing out. And you notice that your breath gets more and more steady, which reflects that your mind is getting more and more steady. All right. So that's all, that's a preliminary. Now we focus on the center of our palms and we're going to bring up our hands, mind, body together. That's what yoga means. Bring it all the way up to, to shoulder level. Now I want you to focus on the wrists. And then I want you to turn the wrist very slowly, one turn at a time. Try not to be distracted with what's going on outside. And more importantly, not get distracted with what's going on inside. Just anchor your mind on your wrist. Turn it one turn at a time, one turn at a time. Now, while you're doing that, I want you to sense the change in your body. See if there's any heat in your wrist, any sweat, any pain, any numbness. And now I want you to turn around, one turn at a time. You see, we are actually doing meditation. We're doing the first step of meditation, which is anchoring a mind, what we call sati or mindfulness. We're not even using a mind. We're just paying attention to what we're doing. Now I want you to lower the hand. So I want you to focus on the center of your palm again, mind, body together, and then just bring it down. And I want you to come back to the spine, stretch the spine, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax. We're going from the wrist to the elbow. Once again, anchor your mind on the center of your palm, bring your hands up, and focus on the elbow. One turn at a time, one turn at a time. And now what's going to happen is that your mind's saying, I don't want to do this. I want to be the monkey mind. I want it to be everywhere else, not at where you want me to be. And that's the trick. So every time you turn, you notice, you say, oh, that is the beginning. Wow. At the beginning is where I would want to develop this habit. So at the beginning of each turn, I'll check my mind. And if my mind is somewhere else, it's time for me to invite my mind to my elbow. And once I invite my mind to the elbow, then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to stay on my elbow from the beginning to the end. And then when you get to the end, you do something else. You say, well, that was a good one. Now I'm going to do it one more time. And that's called diligence. One turn at a time. Now we're going to turn the other way. Turn the other way. Focus on your elbow. Feel the change in your elbow. And now we're going to bring it down. So focus your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it back down. And then stretch the spine again. Lift up the shoulder. Open the shoulder. Lean back and relax. So this is mindfulness meditation. It's just not the way you think. We don't just meditate when we sit. We will. We will definitely meditate when we sit. But right now, we're doing mindfulness in motion. Now we're going from the wrist to the elbow. Now it's time to go to the shoulder. We're using that to practice one of the foundation of mindfulness, which is called mindfulness of feeling. Feeling is not the good word for this because usually we say feeling is how you feel, how your brain reacts. Here is actually more like meditation on the sensation, right? You notice, I don't know if you ever pay attention to how your body works. Well, we call this we call this sensing organs. We have 6 sensing organs. We actually call them sense doors, like the door to your house. The eye, the ears, the nose, the tongue, right? The body, right? And the mind. In this case, it's the thinking mind, your big brain. We consider the big brain just a door to the senses. Now, what we're doing is that when the eye sees light, when the ear hears sound, when the nose engage smell, when the tongue engage the taste, when the body engage the touch, and your mind engage everything else. What happened is that, at least in the first 5, forget the mind for a minute, when the first 5 are these sense organs, they are your biology, they are physiology. The sound, the signal, they are the physics. When the physics engage with the physiology, they generate nerve signal. So now you're going from physics to physiology to your neurology. Well, all that signal gets collected and they go to your spine first. So when they go to the spine, we call that sensation. And then they got all collected. And then from the spine, they go to your big brain. And that's what we call commonly feeling. Oh, you hurt my feeling, right? You hurt my feeling not because you hurt my eyes, not because you hurt my nose. No, you hurt my big brain, right? So here we're actually practicing mindfulness of the sensation. Just sense it. Don't judge it, right? All right. So now we're going to the elbow to the shoulder. So once again, I want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm. And I want you to bring your hand up slowly, anchoring your mind on the center of your palm. Oh, sorry. Start again. I want you to bring your hands up this time, cross your hand, bring it all the way in front, very slowly, bring it all the way to the top. And when you can get to the top, I want you to stretch towards the ceiling as hard as you can. Then I want you to anchor your mind on the center of your palm, open your palm, and then open that shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. And then let go of the pain. Focus on the center of your palm again. The pain is just sensation. It is just nerve ending to your spine. And then open, feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Focus on the center of your palm. Just feel it. Just sense it without actually judging. Open the shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder. Let go of the pain. Bring it up. all the way up. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open the shoulder. Feel the pain on your shoulder. Now we're going to go the other way. Open first. Bring it up. Stretch. Bring it back down. Open first. Stretch. And then bring it back down. Open first. Stretch. And then bring it back down. Now we're going to go front and back. Front and back causes more pain. But we know how to deal with pain. How do we deal with pain? We don't avoid it. We don't run away from it, right? And what's happening outside of us, whether it's politics, whether it's social media, whether it's advertising, whether it is whatever it is, they're trying to manipulate us. They're intruding on us. We don't run away from that. We could, if we could, we would, but we can't. So what we do is we confront it. Be brave. We're going to confront it. What's happening with the politics and all that? Don't run away from it. Confront it. But when we confront it, we need to know how the sensation. It makes us feel bad. Well, that's fine. That is fine. We feel it. We accept it. And then we say to ourselves, what we consume will consume us. What's happened, everything that happened to us happened inside of us. I now make a choice of letting it go. Just let it go. Then the pain will not metastasize into suffering. And that's all we do here. That's all we do. It's very simple. It just needs practice. You need practice and you need companion. You need to know that you're not alone. And we are all here for the same reason, just trying to survive, just trying to survive all the craziness that is outside, that is bombarding us. And we don't want to bring that to our family. We don't want to bring that inside of us. So we're not running away from it. We're going to confront it. We're going to feel it. We're going to accept it. And then we're going to anchor our mind. Your mind cannot do more than one thing at a time. If you don't anchor your mind, then it's going to follow. It's going to get consumed by it. All right. It's very simple idea. Right? It's not that complicated. All right. Let's stretch your spine, lift up our shoulder, open the shoulder, lean back and relax. Focus on the center of your palm. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up, mind, body together. Bring it in front of you. Bring it on top of you. Now get ready. Open the shoulder. Oh, feel that pain on your shoulder. Accept that pain. Let go of the pain. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Don't let that pain metastasize into suffering. Don't follow it. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Open the shoulder, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. And all the way up. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. One more time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight, hands in the back, lift it up, stretch, bring it back down, all the way to the back, lift it up, and then come down, all the way to the back, stretch, and then come down, all the way to the back, and then stretch, and then bring it back down, right? So we're here doing exercise, the kind of exercise that let the energy flow in our body, what we call qi. So we're actually doing qi gong. Gong means practice of qi, right? It's always good for our body. It's good for our body, good for our qi, but also practice it as a meditation. So it's good for our mind too, right? All right. So now we are going to do some meditation sitting down. This is important. After you do some energetic exercise, you need to restore your balance. And the reason is that when you do energetic exercise, that's why we like energetic exercise. It creates all kinds of hormone in the body, happy hormone, stress hormone, whatever, especially the stress hormone. The cortisol is the steroid. The steroid is there, designed to be there to reduce inflammation. It's a good thing. The problem is that if that's all you do, then over time you develop resistance to the cortisol. And so people who are very stressful, right, and they have lots of cortisol in the body, And so the pharmaceutical industry now is trying to give you drug to reduce those cortisol, just like this way that they reduce the cholesterol. They never explain to you that cholesterol is your body's way of healing inflammation in your blood vessel, right? So they're pointing to the guy that come to the police office to report a theft, and they say, no, we're going to kill that guy. Case closed, right? So cortisol is a good thing, but too much of it is why we're losing our healing. And so whenever we do an energetic exercise, we call that yang, we need to come back to yin, making sure that we have the harmony. And so we come back to sitting. The first thing we do is we anchor our mind on the breath. After we do an energetic exercise, you notice that your breathing is very, very rushed. And so let's whisper to ourselves, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing in. Oh, one breath at a time. And the breath is a very funny thing. When you pay attention to it, it calms down, just like the child, just like a cat, just like a dog, right? They get very energetic. You go over there and just kind of do this, and they're very happy. The breath is the same thing. You pay attention to your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing. All of a sudden, you calm down, right? It's very simple. Okay. All right. So now we're going to do 3 more exercise, energetic exercise. Well, 2 energetic exercise, and 1 is restorative. And so we're going to continue to practice what we call the mindfulness of feeling. But understanding the feeling in this case is just the sensation. We don't judge. Okay. So last week I might have mentioned that uh, I have a lot of family here this couple of days, this 2 weeks or so. My son and his girlfriends are moving to Seattle. So at one point, we had 4 dogs and 1 cat in the house. Now we only have 2 dogs and a cat, right? So the cats, unfortunately, we need to keep them separate. So she stays in the bathroom. And so after class, I would take her out, but for now, she's in the bathroom. So and with cats, it's easy, except when you have to clean the litter, right? You know that, right? So my wife hates that, and so I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Now I do it as a way of meditate. He said, what? Yeah, I meditate on cat's litter. What are you talking about? Well, I practice sensation without judging, right? I focus on my body, I scoop it up, I clean it, I put it in a plastic bag. And all this time I don't judge. I don't let my I don't I don't I hold on to my mind, and I don't let my negative emotion masticize, right? So you can meditate on anything, including litter, cat litter. Trust me. Right? And the cats and look at me and say, okay, well, I don't care if you meditate or not, just clean that shit for me. Cats are really amazing. All right, so let's do this exercise. Continue the practice on mindfulness of the feeling. Stretch your spine, open the shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Now, the trick about this exercise is actually using either the left brain or the right brain. Okay, so it makes it easier for us to practice letting go because we're switching from one side to the other. Okay, all right, just a little trick. All right, so stretch your spine, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. Now let's put our left hand in front, our right hand all the way out. Now we're going to focus on the center of the palm on the right hand, which means that we're using the left brain. Now we're going to follow the hand, making a big circle, and then we're going to open that shoulder, feel the pain on your shoulder, accept that pain. And then when we let go of the pain, we switch to the left side, meaning that we're switching from the left brain to the right brain. We follow, open that shoulder, feel the pain, accept that pain, let go of the pain. All the way around. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Left hand, feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Two more times. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Sit up straight. One last time. Feel it, accept it, and then let it go. Come back, focus on the breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Just relax. Okay, so second exercise, energetic exercise. We're getting ready for the meditation. So the trick to letting go, actually, in addition to learning how to anchor your mind, is to relax. Is to relax. So before we relax, before we energize the vagus nerve, we're going to do one more energetic exercise, making sure that the energy flows freely in the body. And the second exercise, again, all three are shalom inner practice, inner energy practice. The second one is just throwing your fist. So stretch, lean back, relax, bring up our right hand, focus on the center of your palm, make a soft fist, get ready. Follow the hand, feel the vibration. Up, come back, focus on the right hand. Down, sit up straight. Down, up, up, down, sit up straight. Down, one last time. Up, up, down, down. Open that shoulder. One, come back. Two, come back. Three, come back. Four, come back. One last time. Five. Quickly come back to the breath. Restore the sensitivity to the stress hormone. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay, we're going to do one more exercise before we start the sitting meditation. And again, the sitting meditation is combined with the breathing exercise. All right. So the last one, again, the trick to let go is to be relaxed. And so we're going to relax by energizing vagus nerve, right? So there's a lot of awareness now with stress management. Not only that it affects our mental state, but it actually affects our physical state. So, for example, uh, there there are instrument that you can buy that either energize here or here. Okay, and because that is actually the beginning of the vagus nerve, then it goes down all the way around inside, get connected with the diaphragm, and then it goes inside the organ. Right? It's the vagus nerve is our 10th cranial nerve, and it's a big part of what we call the parasympathetic nerve system. The autonomous nerve system is either sympathetic or parasympathetic. Parasympathetic is what we call rest and digest. Sympathetic is what we call fight or flight. And the two are just mirror image to the other. The most important thing that you do when you are in danger is you want to shut down all the things that you don't need to survive at the moment. It would be like either you're being chased by a tiger or you see the incoming bus, right? And so what the body does is that it shuts down all your immune system and it shuts down your digestive system. It shuts down your reproductive system. All the things that you don't, all the things you don't need to survive. And it does that by turning off your salivary gland. The salivary gland has enzyme. Enzyme is what you need for digestions. It also activates your vagus nerve, right? And but the problem is that, and I said this many times, is that we don't know how to turn it back on. We don't know how to turn it back on. And so here we're going to learn how to turn it back on by first energizing the vagus nerve and then learning how to breathe with the diaphragm. So we're providing that harmony. All right. So Now we're going to stretch your spine, open that shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Now we're going to take a hand, use the thumb, put that in front of a shoulder. We're going to roll up the four fingers. Now this comes in 4 steps. The key is to relax. The reason why you have to relax is that ultimately we are actually going back to a diaphragm. We're asking a diaphragm to provide that harmony that we used to have when we were inside a mother's womb, right? And now the diaphragm is a funny material. It's what we call in engineering viscoelastic, meaning that its elasticity depends on the stress. So if you don't relax, it becomes very stiff. That's why after we were born, as we grow up, we become more and more stressful, and we don't know how to breathe the diaphragm anymore. So instead, we breathe in with the upper body. The lung has no muscle, right? All right, so you need to relax. So stretch, open, relax, and then now take your thumb, put that in front of your shoulder or the four fingers. Now imagine all your body parts are part of the orchestra. You need a conductor. So who's the conductor here? Let the elbow be your conductor. Now we're going to lift up the elbow, lift up the shoulder. We're going to stretch your spine. Everybody follows, okay? All the components in your body follows the elbow. And then we're going to point the elbow back so everybody follows. Open the shoulder as if you're squeezing a tennis ball in the back. Now we're going to let the elbow go down. Everybody follow. Everybody relax. And then we're going to point the elbow forward so you're looking down at the floor. Now we're going to bring up the elbow so you're looking at the camera once again. You're going to stretch the spine. Now we're going to open, pointing the elbow back. So we open the shoulder. And then we're going to drop the elbow. Everybody looks down and relax until the elbows are pointing straight forward. As you lift up the elbow, you close your mouth, you breathe in very gently all the way out. And then as you come down, you breathe out very gently until you're all the way down. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax, okay? Just relax as if you're going into a spa. This is your self therapy. Open that shoulder, breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in, and then breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, and then breathe out. All right, so now we're going to start sitting meditation. Okay, we're going to start sitting meditation. Once again, we start with the body. So we're going to divide the body into 7 parts. First are your legs. Now, I mentioned that human beings are capable of all 4 postures, but the Buddhists, the meditators, they associate one object with each posture. So we say we sit like the bell. Imagine like you're the Liberty Bell. The legs are the pedestal, so you don't want to use any muscle. So if you sit like I do, which is very simple, or you put your feet up, or you put both up, or you just sit on the chair with the feet at the very bottom. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you want your feet to be the pedestal. The rest of your body is the bell. So don't use any muscle. Put some blankets and pillows if you cannot sit flat like I do. Just don't use muscle. The second part are your hands. So just relax. Just relax. Okay? You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. Just relax. The third one is your spine, friend, the spine. So let's focus on the bottom of our spine. Let's walk up the spine, one joint at a time. Let's stretch your spine as if we're hanging a spine on the ceiling. If the body is the bell, the spine is like the clapper inside the bell. It needs to be hang from the ceiling. Then we want to lean back. Now, when you lean back, you feel like you're falling, but you notice that My natural state is a little bit inclined, right? That's just because we're mammal. And so you after you stretch, you actually want to lean back and you get this feeling, no, 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 I'm gonna fall over. No, you won't. And when you lean back and now you notice that I'm actually straight up, then you want to relax. Now let the weight of your upper torso rest on your spine. So you're not using muscle. Then you want to lift up the shoulder and you want to open the shoulder and then relax. Now, this simple exercise is actually 1,000-year-old exercise. It comes from a practice called the five animals. You notice that all animals does that. They open the shoulder and then they relax. Now, you notice that I'm still using a neck muscle because we all tend to do this, right? So you want to lean back your forehead so the ears on top of your shoulder, and you're not using the neck muscle anymore. You're now balancing the weight of your head on top of your spine as if you're balancing a watermelon on top of a bamboo stick. But then you want to tuck in your chin slightly so the top of the head is on top of your central nerve system. Now you come to your forehead, you relax your forehead, and you relax in between your eyebrow, and you relax your eyelid, and you just go back and imagine how babies sleep. Baby does something very smart. First, they breathe with the stomach. You always notice that the stomach moves when they breathe because they're using the diaphragm. Second is that when they sleep, they don't shut their eyes. They close their eye, but they don't shut it. They just close your eye. So imagine your eyelids are like the window shade. And you lower the shade, you lower the drape. You don't shut it. You just relax. So you can actually see some light if you want. You can see your toes, your knee, and your hand, maybe the tip of your nose, right? But you're not focusing on any of that. You just relax. Finally, you want to take the tip of the tongue and you put it behind here where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Now, this one does a number of things. One is that it turns on your saliva gland, which is good. It puts you in rest and digest. Second is that all the saliva are now flowing into your stomach, not into your lung, which is good. You don't choke on your own saliva. And finally, it creates a conductive path, and that would be important when we circulate the qi. After you do all that, we do the first step, which is just focusing on our belly, on our stomach. Let's focus it on the belly button, and then just feel our breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, what we do is we focus on the belly button, and as soon as you breathe in, you imagine. In the beginning, you just imagine it. Right? You don't have to force it. You're not trying to beat your body into submission. So you imagine taking the belly button and bring it out all the way across the room. Just imagine. And then when you notice that you're breathing out, you're taking the belly button and you bring it all the way back as if you're collapsing your belly button with your spine. Just your mind. Breathing in, moving forward, breathing out, bring it back. Now you will notice that even though you're using your mind, your body follows. And you notice that if you relax, if you don't relax, you cannot do it. You say, well, I actually get stressed out when you tell me to relax. I know. Just relax. Relax as if your life depends on it, and your life actually depends on it. So when you breathe in, relax, bring this belly button forward. And when you breathe out, bring the belly button back. One breath at a time. Let's do this for 5 minutes. One breath at a time. Okay. Again, what's going to happen is that your mind is a monkey mind. So the monkey says, no, I'm not doing this. So at the beginning, when you breathe in, you check your mind. Your mind is somewhere else, bouncing between the branches of the tree. You say, please come back. And your mind, being the monkey, said, no. And then you said, how about just one breath? And the monkey says, okay. So you come back, breathing in, moving the stomach forward, breathing out, moving it back. And then you say to the monkey and says, hey, that was good. That's was good job. Let's do it again. And the monkey says, okay, now just one more. Yeah, just one more. That's how you tame the monkey, one breath at a time. Okay. Now, this first part is called the mindful of your breath to cultivate your chi, right? It's part of the Taoist longevity meditation practice. It basically creates that harmony in your body, cycling between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And if you want to instrument your body, you actually notice that your heart rate goes up when you breathe in, and your heart rate goes down when you breathe out, because you're actually cycling between the two. And this is a very good exercise. It actually has demonstrated to reduce inflammation in your body, including what happens to your brain, which what we call dementia. Dementia. Now, the second one takes that one step further, and it coordinate your breath with your posture. And so I want you to let go of your belly button now and just focus on your breath. And you notice that without actually moving the belly button, your stomach opens slightly when you breathe in. and your stomach collapses slightly when you breathe out, just ever so slightly. You just haven't noticed it before. Now, what I want you to do is anchor your mind at the bottom of your spine, the way we always do. And when you feel that you're breathing in, I want you to go up the spine, stretch the spine upward until you get to the top of your head. And then when your body breathes out, I want you to lean back and come down through your forehead, through the bridge of your nose, through your tongue, and all the way down to the belly button. And then I want you to relax. When you breathe in, I want you to stretch the spine. And then when you breathe out, I want you to lean back and relax. It is just that simple. All right? 5 minutes. Okay, so that's the second step. The second step is called mindful of the chi to cultivate your mind, right? And in this, the first step is really using the lower stomach, the stomach, using the diaphragm. And when we say cultivate the chi, actually what we're doing is we're generating some static electricity in the intestines because they're piezoelectric and you're massaging them, right? Now that massaging of the intestines actually help with your if you have any problem with your digestion, or if you have problem with um, anything, and it helps, right? It creates that health condition, but it also creates some static electricities. And now what we want to do is we want to cycle that electricity through our spine, which is conductive, and then come back, creating this loop, right? Now, creating this loop actually basically allows you to not only exercise the diaphragm, which is important, but it also energizes another diaphragm, which is what's between your left brain and your right brain. And that's the chamber that creates that electric potential that allows you to run the electricity through your spine, right? So that's a very, very important exercise. Now, together, as I said, is a thousand-year-old Taoist technique of meditation that they call the microcosmic orbit, right? The microcosmic orbit is what they use to describe the moon going around the earth, right? There's another one which is called the macrocosmic orbit, and that's when they describe the earth going around the sun. So there's another way to practice the chi, which I don't know how because I am not really practicing as a Taoist. It's just another way to get started. So you might naturally ask, so Danny, are you a Buddhist, a Taoist, or are you even a yogi wannabe? Well, these are just labels. Right? I want to use example back in the days when my son was still in high school, and that's when I first retired, sold my company. I had time, and so he and I used to travel two times at least during the summer. 3 years before we go to college, we've been to maybe 20 different countries. We climb all the peaks, Mount Fuji, and all that. And so one time we were in Kenya, and we were climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. And so you get personal guides, right? So you cannot leave anything behind. So they actually have to bring food in. So there were like 11 of us, and there were like 63 different guides, porters and whatnot. Well, you actually have to choose which path. So there are some that are very fast, 3 days. There are some that are longer. We picked the one that's like 7 days, and allows you time to kind get acclimated with the altitude. There are ones that are very scenic, and then there are ones that actually you can go back the same path. Now, most of the path that you use cannot go back. So if you're stuck in the middle, you can't go back. And those are paths that you can actually go back. And so you can choose, but it takes longer and all that. I think that, that's a Taoist path. That's a Buddhist path. That's a yogi path. There's this path. There's that path. You can do that. It's all labeled. But when you get to the summit, you look down and say, oh, they're all the same. So whether you call me a Taoist, a Buddhist, or a yogi wannabe, it doesn't really matter. When you get to the top, which I'm not, I can see the top. They're all the same. All right. Now, since I'm talking about yoga, I talk about the 8 limbs of yoga. You need to study that. It's easy. Nowadays with AI, just ask the question, they give you a whole thesis. And you can then read it on your own time. And so the first 2 limbs has to do with personal conduct. The first one is you can translate into morality, but it's not like morality like looking, the Westerners have a different definition of what morality body is. We don't like to do that. But it's really how you conduct yourself. You don't kill, you don't lie, you don't steal, you don't have sexual misconduct, you don't take drugs, that kind of thing. Well, the second one is more like how you conduct yourself with the community, right? It's like the Boy Scouts, one good deed a day, kind of like that. How you share, this is what I'm doing, how I share, how I make connections, right? It's what I do. Right? I do it for myself. Now, then the three, one has to do with the body, and that's what typically yoga means in the Western world. It's what we call asana. The second one is what we do today is pranayama, the practice of breath. And then finally is the practice of the mind, which is sort of related to sati, mindfulness. Then those are the five, right? Then you have three left. So these are the stage I talked about earlier. You go from that to samatha, which is like stillness. Then you go from that to Zen, or what we call the uh, chana or jhana, right? That's when you really like, whenever you have a thought that you feel that is unwholesome, you just let it settle, right? And finally, you get to samadhi. Samadhi is the language, is the common language with the spirit, with the higher spirit. The spirit is within you. Okay. All right. So now we're going to come back to asana, practice of the body. Okay. All right. Doing some stretching. Now lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder, lean back, relax, put a hands together, palm facing up. We're going to take a deep breath. And as we take a deep breath, we raise a hand, we follow the hand, and we lift up our body. Get ready. Breathe in. And then flip your hand, breathe out, follow your hand, lock your elbow, looking straight ahead. And we open arms as if we're climbing the mountain. We're stretching that part of our arm. And meridians are very important for the triple warmer. Second time, breathe in. Look up, breathe out. Looking straight ahead again. Climb the mountain. And then one last time, breathe in. Breathe out. Looking straight ahead. Climb the mountain. Now, second time. Now we're going to lock the fingers again, palm facing up. Flip, palm facing down, stretch, lock the elbow, looking straight ahead. Bring up your hand all the way to the top. Bring it back slightly so you're forming a straight line between the bottom of your spine, the top of your head, and the center of your palm. Now you push as hard as you can, stretching the spine, and then you lean back. Then you come back to the middle and you push as hard as you can. Now the entire upper torso lean to the left. You're stretching the spine. And then come back to the middle and you stretch and you lean over to the right. And then you come back to the middle and you push and you land back to the left. And you come back to the middle one last time and you push. And then you lean to the right. Now you come back to the middle, you focus on the center of your palm, you bring it down, you relax, you open that shoulder, you lean back, you relax, you take your right arm, you put that on your left shoulder, you lean back the forehead. So you're putting pressure on the right shoulder, you take the left hand, you grab the right shoulder, you stretch your spine, and you stretch to the left. And then you come back, you do the opposite. Sit up straight, and you stretch to the right. Oh, and then you come back, you focus on your breath. You notice your breath is very rushed. So you say to yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. You restore that harmony. Then you continue, open that shoulder, you will go back, you relax. And you take your left hand, palm facing up. You take your right hand, you put that between the fingers in the palm. You sit up straight and you bring your left hand down. You lock your elbow. You're looking straight ahead. You bring up your hand, palm facing up. Now you sit up straight. You don't turn your upper torso. You take your left hand, you bring it to the right. And then you bring it back. You relax. You take your right arm, you sit up straight. You bring that down. You push out your elbow. You bring up your hand. You don't turn your body, and you just take your hand, you turn it, bring it to the left. You come back and you relax. You go back to your breath and you say, I know I'm breathing in. And breathing out. Create that harmony. Now, once again, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. You take the right arm, palm facing up. You take your left arm, palm facing down. You open your shoulder. You focus on the center of your palm of your right hand. You imagine the sky has fallen down. You're pushing up the sky. You lock your elbow. Now, then you go to the left and you push down the earth. Then you take your right arm, you lean back, you take your head, you turn to the left, you stop at the shoulder. You keep turning your eyeball as if you're looking at your back. You bring back your head, you bring back your eyeball, and then you relax. Then you do the other hand, open the shoulder, you push. Then you take your right, you push. Then you lean back your left hand, you turn your head to the right, you stop at the shoulder, you keep turning your eyeball, and then you bring everything back, and then you relax. Now we're going to stretch the spine. You sit up straight, you lock your fingers, you put that at the lower back, you turn your hands so that palms facing down, you push, you lock your elbow. Now you focus on the center of your palm and the top of the head at the same time. You push down the center of your palm, you lift up your head, one up, one down, you stretch your spine, and then you relax. You lean back the forehead so you're looking at the ceiling 45 degrees. Then you bring up your hand as hard as you can, and then you relax. You back to your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. So we do an energetic exercise to create stress hormone, to reduce inflammation. Then you come back and you relax to restore the sensitivity. All right, we'll continue. We'll open the shoulder, we lean back, relax. We take the right hand, we'll put that in the back. We look up straight, we lift up our right shoulder. Oh, and then we do the same thing on the left shoulder. Oh, now you take your right hand, back of the hand at the bottom of the spine. You take two fingers, you point that to the left shoulder. You bring down your right shoulder, you lift up your fingers, and then relax. You do the other side, you sit up straight. You bring down your right shoulder, you lift up your fingers. Then you take the other hand, hands touching. You're looking straight ahead, two shoulders. Right shoulder up, left shoulder down, and then you relax. The other side. Same thing, left shoulder up, right shoulder down, and then you relax. Back to the breath. Okay, one last exercise called the reverse Buddha. You take two hands, palm facing to palm, the center palm touching, fingers pointing down. You turn, fingers pointing up, you bring it up. You sit up straight, you open your shoulder, you push your hand forward, and then you relax. Okay, all right, so now we're getting ready to do more exercise. And we're first going to go back to joint exercise. We did the upper body, now we're going to do the lower body. So first the knee, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the heel, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now to the toes. We're going to stand on the toes. This is actually a very good exercise for your kidney energy. And many of you have lower back problem. This is the exercise you want to do to activate the kidney energy. Okay, now focus on the top of your head, looking straight ahead, and just stand on your toes. And then when you come down, impact the heel. The heel is the energy line that is named after the bladder, is the yang side of the kidney. Now, stand on your toes, focus, and then come down. One last time, stand on your toes, and then come down. Now we're going to do some balancing exercise. This is very important to prevent dementia. Okay, Dementia, the beginning of dementia is to lose the balance. Left brain, right brain. Now we're going to stand on our left foot. We're going to balance first, looking straight ahead. And we're going to kick the right foot. We're going to kick it with the heel. Okay, get ready. 1, 2, and then 3. Now, looking straight ahead. Okay, looking straight. Don't look down. Get ready. Balance first. 1, 2, and then 3. Okay. One last exercise is the hip. As we age, it's very important that we maintain that flexibility of the hip. When you fall, it's the only thing that gets you back up. Maintain that balance. So we're gonna stand on the right foot. We're gonna lean back on the left foot. We're gonna turn on the straight line between a heel, a knee, a hip, and a shoulder. And then move forward, relax, bring it back, turn as much as you can, forward, relax. One last time, forward, and then relax. Now I'm going to do the other side. Bring it back, turn, forward, relax, turn, forward, relax. One last time, turn, forward, and then relax. Now we're ready to do the breathing exercise, okay? And this is a meditation. So focus, anchor your mind on the body. Anchor your mind on the center of your palm. Bring it up. 1. Bring it towards yourself. 2. Bring it down. 3. Lower your knee. Stand back up. 4. Okay. Now get ready. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax. Breathe in. Follow your hand. Breathe out. Relax. Now breathe in. Cross your hand. Breathe out. Now don't stop in the middle. Okay. All the way out. Because what you're doing is you're opening the chest cage and you still want to breathe out. So the diaphragm has to come up. And then breathe in. Breathe out. Okay. 1 second. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. All the way out. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Now we're going to do standing meditation. 1 minute. Focus on your breath. 1 breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Okay, now the second one is called balloon breathing. So right foot forward, lean back so the toes are pointing up. You're looking at the ceiling, 45 degrees. You bring up your hands, you follow your hand, you roll your body forward. Heels are up on the right, on the left hand, on left foot. Then you open it back again, looking at the ceiling again. As you move forward, you close your mouth and you just breathe in very gently. And then as you open, you breathe out. You don't stop in the middle. You breathe out all the way. And then when you go forward, just let the air comes in naturally. Don't try to suck the air in, okay? Breathe out. Relax. Breathe out. So you're exercising your diaphragm without knowing it. Breathe out. Breathe out. Follow your hand, okay? Follow your hand. Don't try to have any thoughts right now. Empty your mind. Breathe out. And then lower your hand. 1 minute of standing meditation. Okay, now left side. Get ready. Breathe in and then breathe out. Don't stop. All the way out. And then very gently let the body breathe in on its own and then breathe out. Out. Breathe out. And last time, breathe in and then breathe out. Lower your hand. 1 minute of standing meditation. So I mentioned we sit like the bell, we stand like the pine tree. So this is like a pine tree. You plant your feet firmly on the ground as if you're growing roots, and then you let the rest of the body be free. And so you don't lock your knee, you just kind of loosen up your knee. And if your body has sway a little bit, let it sway, don't worry, it won't fall. Just relax, focus on your breath. Okay, so this way of standing is another Taoist longevity practice. By not locking your knee, you're activating your calf. The calf is the second heart, all right? So people will stand like this for hours or maybe 10 minutes is a good practice too, right? All right, so the next one is called the butterfly. Get ready, lift up your arm, bring down your arm, lower your knee, bring your palms back up, stand on your toes until the back of the hand is touching. As you come down, you breathe in. As you go up, you breathe out. You don't stop in the middle. And then relax. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, and then breathe out. In, out. One last time. In, out. Okay, lower your hands. 1 minute of standing meditation. If you can, try standing without locking your knee. Okay. Now the next one is called push hand. This one really looks like Tai Chi. But the key here is that you don't judge. You just feel your body, but you don't ask yourself, am I doing it right? It doesn't really matter. You just feel it. So imagine you have a water wheel in front, you bring your hands up to the top of the water wheel, and you bring it back down. As you bring it back down, you lower your right foot as if you're sitting down. Then you're looking straight ahead and you push through the center of the water wheel. Okay, now you bring your hands up, you breathe in all the way here, and then you breathe out. When you breathe in, it's important that you open your shoulder. And as you breathe out, you push. You imagine pushing from your kidney, from your lower back. Breathe in breathe out. Just feel your body. You don't even have to look at me because I'm not looking at you. Breathe out. I am just all here with myself, feeling every change in my body, feeling every change in my breath. Breathe out. Breathe in, open your shoulder. Breathe out, push. One last time. Breathe in. And then breathe out. All this time, follow the center of your palm. Come back, another minute. Okay, now left side, right? The entire key to the Buddhist teaching is don't judge. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge your body. Don't judge your mind. Accept who you are. Accept the world as it is. When it's time to engage the world, you engage it. When it's time to let go of the world, you let go of it. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. One last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Come back. This is the last 1 minute standing meditation. Okay, now the last exercise is a very simple one, is to re-energize your adrenal gland, your kidney. And the Western doctor does that. They ask you to stand up very quickly to see if you get lightheadedness. You get lightheadedness because your adrenal gland is not reacting fast enough to adjust to the change of gravity, right? And so that's why you get lightheadedness. And it's an indication of your health. It's an indication of your state of aging. And so here's exercise that basically reverse, if you have any problem, reverse adrenal fatigue. And it's very simple. You take a deep breath in, and then you breathe out as you lower your body, open your knee, and then you press forward. Then you breathe in again, stand up, and until you lean back, and that's it, right? Okay, second time, breathe out, breathe in, relax, right? The key is to activate your lower back. One last time, breathe out, and then breathe in. and then relax. Okay, so we have a few minutes. I actually need to leave on time today because I've been writing about this thing called some harmony called the Hungry Ghost Festival, Hungry Ghost event. It's actually more popular to call it the Buddhist Joyful Day. And just read about it. I wrote it in different. It's basically everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, and even on our group. All right. So now let's do one more meditation, focusing on the breath. Now you notice that after we do the breathing exercise, your breath becomes more pronounced. You can actually feel your stomach opens when you breathe in, and your stomach collapses when you breathe out. We're going to start with the second part, which is we go from the bottom of the spine. We stretch your spine as we breathe in, and then we're going to lean back and relax as we breathe out. So I talk about how the Buddhist teaching is about letting go of your brain, letting go of your intellect, so that you can focus on your intelligence. Intelligence actually in your spine, not in your head. And it's just that the Western culture dominates on your thinking mind. And so we want to let it go, let it go. And so this technique basically builds on what we just did, and it's called the wandering dragon chasing the pearl. Now, it builds on some prerequisites. It requires you to maintain this posture, so you're stretching your spine as you breathe in, and you lean back and relax as you breathe out. It requires that your total concentration, so you're focusing on your breath, one breath at a time. Now, if you do that, a couple of things happen. You feel that you're much more at ease, at peace with yourself. You feel that your head is cooling a little bit and your stomach is warming up a little bit. And then you might even feel some energy rising in your spine as you stretch. And then the same energies return back to your stomach as you relax. We call that the pearl. Now, if there's a pearl, there's a dragon. Dragon chase the pearl. The dragon is your mind. This is when you said, okay, I'm going to let go of my breath and just let my breathing happens. So my body breathes in, the pearl rises, and I'm just going to follow the pearl up to my top of my head. And then when I breathe out, I'm going to follow the pearl back. And you try not to participate in your breathing, and you just let your breathing happens on its own. You wait until you breathe in, you climb your spine following the pearl, and then you let your body breathe out, you come back to your stomach. Now, since it's a dragon and it's a wandering dragon, which means that it's a free dragon, it's not one that you harness. When you get to the top of your head, you imagine there's a cloud on top of your head. The dragon sees the cloud, it goes into the cloud, it says, oh, that's my ancestor home. So you let go of your brain. And then when you breathe out, the dragon comes out. It enters into your stomach. The stomach is warm. The dragon sees the warm stomach and says, oh, that's my cave. Let me rest. Nice and free. And then when you breathe out again, breathe in again, the dragon sees that, chase the pearl up, goes above your head. The dragon actually looks down and sees this body. And then it comes back when you breathe out. Okay, let's do this for 5 minutes and then I have to go. Okay. All right. So I have to go to my other gig where I need to record some sessions. So the question is the anxiety session recorded so we can view it? Yes, everything we do here is usually recorded, including the anxiety session. And so you need to discover uh, all my other social media platform, and discover for yourself that I'm actually a social media rock star. So YouTube, Facebook, Patreon, and it's everywhere. Okay, so if you can't find me, just type in DannyKMew.com. All right, and if you want to, you can add a slash YouTube slash Facebook slash Patreon slash Insight dash Timer. I'm everywhere. Okay, so gotta go. Really enjoy this session. I'll see you now next week. Okay, bye bye. Thank you for the donation.